Hey guys, it's Jenny. I did a boo-boo. I erased the footage that I just filmed. I've been filming for the past hour. I was working on the Coelogyne cristata. Remember I was telling you she has some issues that happened while I was gone? Well, yeah, I was filming, ran out of space, started to delete some footage from my camera, and of course, I deleted that footage as well. I didn't delete everything, so we'll start off at some point, but the first part of the video is completely gone. So I'm just gonna walk you through a little bit what happened. And yeah, I cannot repeat the process because I've already made the cuts. I already have the divisions and all of that. I'm so sorry. I hope the video will still be kind of useful. Anyway, so this is my Coelogyne cristata after I removed whatever was good. And you will see in the second part of the video that the pseudobulbs that I removed are actually looking good. They have new growth, but whatever I left behind looks absolutely awful. To my surprise, there were more pseudobulbs affected than I was expecting. And as you can see, this pseudobulb looks kind of okay if you look at it like this, but when you look at the base, you can see it's already starting to rot. So I was very careful not to leave any rotting pseudobulb on my divisions. Therefore, I am throwing away pseudobulbs that might look okay-ish or salvageable, but they're not. Look at this one. They already had dying or rotting new growths, so that's a very bad sign. As you can see, most of my orchid is affected and it will not be saved. I will discard this. It still has some good roots, but without the pseudobulb, obviously the roots will not survive either. The divisions I managed to make are 3 of them, very tiny, but they're healthy. At least they look like they're healthy. You're gonna see them. And as for what this could be, well, I've eliminated fusarium out of the question. I did some cuts. Let's try to find one for you. Or actually, let's just do another cut, right? I've eliminated fusarium because I did not see any purple ring. You will see a sort of a ring that is brownish. This is a sheath ring. It's not fusarium. This rhizome, being already affected by the disease, you can see the base of the pseudobulb and the new growth is already kind of starting to become a little mushy and a little brown, but it's not fusarium. The other rhizomes, all of them that I cut, were absolutely clean. They only had the remains of the dried sheaths. So fusarium is out of the question, which is good. Oh, I think I see. This is one of the cuts that I made. Here, let's focus. Okay, there you go. There is no fusarium. It looks clean. So at least we're not dealing with fusarium, which is good. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the orchid is saved. This right here is not black rot. It is, I think, a bacterial infection. I'm not entirely sure where it started because all of the older pseudobulbs are affected. When I left for vacation, I didn't see any signs. Maybe the orchid was affected, but there was no signs. And when I returned, I came back to this, so it advanced really fast. Therefore, I really needed to be pretty severe in my cutting and in my divisions, and that's what I did. As you will see, pretty much my orchid is made up of back bulbs, but they have new growths and they're growing roots, and that's okay. So I believe it is a bacterial infection, maybe coupled with a fungal infection, not entirely sure, but it is not fusarium, which is good. And that's pretty much what I did in the deleted footage. Cutting of the rhizome, since of course I'm not gonna show it, is simple. Let's presume this is a good pseudobulb, right? And all of these are bad pseudobulbs that we want to remove. Let me focus for you. Cutting of the rhizome is pretty easy. All you need is a sterilized pair of pruners or scissors or even a knife if you do okay with the knife. And all you need to do is snip the rhizome somewhere. I chose somewhere in the middle. And that's it. This is how you make a division. Pretty easy. And this is where I left off actually with the video. I made my divisions and I was just about to clean them up, spray them with hydrogen peroxide and pot them up. So I guess we can go back to the initial footage. Again, really sorry. I'm so clumsy sometimes. I don't know. I don't know why. It happens, but I hope this new explanation was useful and you kind of got the gist of things. She's not pretty. She's very affected by something. So healthy divisions needed to be made in order to save the overall orchid. And that's pretty much what you missed. Alrighty, let's get back to the initial video now. So I'm gonna clean up my working table here, gonna disinfect it with some alcohol and come back when it's time to clean up and pot the divisions that I made. Okay, so I cleaned up my divisions from the all dried sheaths. There's no point in keeping them because they will just decompose and retain bacteria and microbes and all of that. And I've also sprayed the bases of the pseudobulbs and also the cut ones with hydrogen peroxide 3%. This is not a treatment against bacterial or fungal infections, but it does kill off spores, molds and all of those things, and it pretty much sterilizes areas. So it does help by minimizing the spread of a certain disease, it just doesn't cure it. I also have my little pot prepared here. It's a pretty shallow pot considering the width of the pot, and that's ideal for the cristata because she doesn't tend to grow very long roots and she grows on a horizontal level rather than vertical, upwards. As you can see, I have the drainage holes on the side, not at the bottom. This can only mean that I am potting her in semi-hydro. And I think she will do great in this setup because she loves moisture. There's no way you can overwater the Coelogyne cristata. You can, however, suffocate it. But with these beads, you cannot have a suffocating environment. I think Astrid was saying that mathematically speaking, if you have round objects of pretty much the same size in a container, you'll have almost 40% air and the rest of the space will be occupied by the actual pebbles. So I think it was 30-something%. With that ratio, you cannot suffocate anything really. So I'm just gonna place a layer of pebbles. And considering my orchid doesn't really have roots, it's not going to be hard to adjust them. However, this division does have a root, so let's place it now. I'm going to position it here so I give more space for this new growth to develop and continue growth of the rhizome. And the other two divisions, I'm not going to place them now because they do not have roots. At this point, I can start thinking of placing the other divisions. That's okay, I'm just gonna put medium around the root on that side. And I have, oops, I almost spoiled it. I have another tiny division. I'm just going to place it here. And now just fill in with medium around it. I'm not gonna bury the pseudobulbs, but they will be slightly inside the leca pebbles. You're gonna see at the end. And here is the final result. Now, I was telling you that the pseudobulbs are not super on top of the medium, but they're not buried either. Being that this medium is just so loose, it has so much, or actually so many air pockets, it's pretty hard to stabilize orchids inside of it unless they have roots. And as you could see, my orchid did not have roots. At the same time, it's pretty hard to stake the Coelogyne cristata. She does not have tall canes, not even straight leaves. She has flimsy leaves that just flop to the side, very tiny and stumpy pseudobulbs. Pretty hard to make her stable no matter what. I could use a rhizome clip, but I'm not a fan of them. So what I did was actually to stabilize kinda the pseudobulbs by placing them a little bit inside the pebbles. I placed the pebbles so that they sustain the pseudobulb, but this is really flimsy right now. All I need to do is just pick up the pseudobulb and I can lift it up. So for that reason, I should not move this orchid around way too much and touch leaves and all of that like I did now, because yeah, she'll fall out of her pot. But once she gets established and she sends out some roots, she gets really attached and really stable. She's not a tall orchid, not top heavy, so she will get very stable. Right now is just this period where I need to be very careful. And the first step is to pot the pseudobulbs just slightly under the pebbles. Not a whole lot. I don't want to rot them anymore, but they're definitely not on top. And that's about it for the Coelogyne cristata. Oh boy, this orchid is pretty old in my collection. She bloomed once, really lovely blooms, but afterwards I just mistreated her so badly. Didn't really have a choice because I had to move here, I had to keep her without medium and so on for quite a lot of time. Anyway, pretty bad history, and she loves water. When you keep a cristata way too dry, it's not gonna be pretty. She's not happy and she will show it to you. So yeah, hopefully this is a new start. I'm pretty optimistic though. The divisions don't look bad. They're not super dehydrated as you can see, and I already see root tips. It is the season. She's sending out new growth. So it's pretty much perfect timing, if you will, for a disease, if there is such a thing. But of course, I will keep you up to date. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you found this useful. And of course, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. A share would be wonderful. And if you'd like to watch other orchid videos from me and stay up to date, just subscribe to my channel. I post 5 times a week. but also don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Alrighty guys, with that said, I'll see you all next time. Bye! So I was thinking to make a sort of an update on my Vanda orchids collection because I have quite a few that you don't know. I just received them or I purchased them in the past month and they are quite exciting. Also, it's a good idea to recap the orchids that are vandaceous, but they're not necessarily Vandas, like the Renantheras, for example, because I do have a few of them as well. So yeah, what do you guys think? Do you want a little update on the Vanda collection, which is expanding, and soon it will need a new stand because it's not fitting there anymore. So just let me know in the comments down below.